Hello and welcome everybody to a complete history of Henry Ford and the assembly line used by the Ford Motor Company. So, Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, was born in Springwells Township in Wayne County, Michigan on July 30th, 1863. He was the eldest of 6 children in a family of 4 boys and 2 girls, and his father was native of County Cork, Ireland, who came to America in 1847, and they settled on a farm in Wayne County. So a family of farmers must have been difficult for him to develop his first engine with mostly scraps. Young Henry Ford showed an early interest in mechanics by the time he was 12. He spent most of his time fiddling with small machines in his shop, and at 15, he constructed his first one-cylinder steam engine, as you can see right here. And a later version of that engine was later fitted into his first vehicle, the quadricycle, which was more or less of a bicycle fitted with 4 wheels, and he framed his engine inside of the bicycle. Very inventive man. By August of 1899, Henry Ford was ready to start his own company. He designed and started his Detroit Automobile Company, which unfortunately failed 18 months later, filing for bankruptcy. Now, he did start his own second company, the Henry Ford Company, which actually would later become Cadillac, which also was bought out. And finally, he created the Ford Motor Company in 1903 with an investment of $28,000 by 12 different people. By July of 1903, the Ford Motor Company had developed its first car, and in 1919, their $28,000 investment had grown to $105.8 million, which seems like a lot now because that was in 1920s money, which is quite incredible for a man. Now, you may be wondering why Henry Ford became so famous across America and, quite frankly, across the world. Well, his most impressive invention was, of course, the assembly line, which utilizes the invention of the conveyor belt. Now, in 1913, the first assembly line was successfully created in Highland Park Assembly Line, which you can see here, which he famously used the conveyor belts to rather have the workers move to the car itself, the car moved across the conveyor belts to the worker, which made it a lot more efficient and quicker for the cars to be developed. This method of moving the car around the factory was quite impressive. It allowed the Ford Model T to be created in only 90 minutes, while other competitors were still stuck behind creating cars in weeks, months. Now, one problem with the assembly line is that these skilled workers who came to work at the Ford plants were disappointed that they weren't being able to put their hands really on the entire car. Now, these workers were only putting maybe up 2 tasks a day, so many of these workers actually left to the Ford competitors, and this led to one of Ford's riskiest moves, which was known as the $5 workday. Now, the $5 workday enticed these workers to come back to the Ford Motor Company after leaving for their competitors. Now, many thought Henry Ford was crazy for this move. However, the decision actually worked very well for the Ford Motor Company. Now, the people thought that they would lose profit off of this. Instead, the workers became more enticed to move faster and more efficiently, leading to more profit and more cars being produced. The Ford Motor Company soon became one of the biggest companies in the world, growing the city of Detroit into the great city that it is today. And the Ford Motor Company is still known today as one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. However, Henry Ford is mainly known for the assembly line, which I'll now give you a demonstration of. Alright, men, I need you to create one Ford Model T. Give it, 10 seconds? Go. Great. Now put it all together. Wow, that was quite fast. And with all the work put together of all my men, I made that one car in about 15 seconds. I need you to create one Ferrari. Yes, boss, but I need to create all the parts myself. I don't care. Get it done. Ugh, I'm tired. I need a day's rest. Right, day 2. Now I can continue working. Oof, this is tiring. And with only one of me, this will take forever. Alright, 3 days later. Now I can finally finish the last part. Great, now put it all together. Okay, but this will take me a long time. All of these intricate parts put together just by one man is very hard work and will take a long time. I must move the whole body by itself. Now, attaching this will take at least 3 days for me. After assembly, tuning, painting, and everything, the car is finally completed. Enough work for one man to take a 1 week break. So, as you can see, the one man to one car system used by the likes of Chevrolet and Ferrari before the use of the assembly line was quite slow and used a lot of manpower. These companies struggled to pick up the pace during the time of Henry Ford. Eventually, they did find that using an assembly line was quicker, but companies like Ferrari still use the one man to one car system, which takes very long to assemble. So, as we can see, Henry Ford was a brilliant man, and his developments of the assembly line not only changed the assembly line in the Americas, but across the world. Nowadays, almost every car manufacturer uses the assembly line, and we can order a car with our fingertips on our phones, laptops, or even at the dealership. The future of Ford was carried on by his grandson, Henry Ford II, and continued to prosper until around the 2000s, in which the quality of the cars began to suffer, and problems such as this and this were common among cars, leading to the decline of stocks and sales of the Ford Motor Company. Even through these struggles, Henry Ford was a brilliant man, and I'll leave you with one last message, a quote from Henry Ford himself. Don't find fault, find a remedy. Anyone can complain. If you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you're probably right. This shows that even if you think you can't do something, the impossible can still be possible. And as we see with the invention of the assembly line and the Ford Motor Company, he certainly did that. He made the impossible possible.